चिल्लाओ। हाँ।
Started recording. All right. So tell me, how is it happening? Are you enjoying this, the current situation which is happening? You are happy with very comfortable sitting in your homes in a comfortable position, not going to school, not going to classes, just switch on the laptop and do whatever you wish to. Sometimes you are studying, sometimes you're pretending to study, and sometimes you're not doing anything. Oh my God, I think none of the student is happy with sitting at home. Now everybody wants to go out. How much bored you used to be, right? When you used to come to school every day, come to classes every day, and suddenly that is becoming a nice thing now. So we understood the importance of school and classes when we were actually present in them, right? All right. I know I am also not at all happy teaching here offline, not able to see any one of you, simply just talking from my side and trying to understand you with the help of these chats. So it is not good, but let's hope that everything gets over quickly. I'm sure this quickly is going to take a little bit time, but definitely we can pray for it so that we all can meet in the live class. You all will be able to go to your schools, meet your friends specifically, not teachers. I know you all want to meet your friends. Yes, we also want to meet our friends so that everything gets over when we can get back to normal. But till then, I know it's a little boring. I know it is little tedious every day getting up, switch on the laptop, your mobile phone, attend your school, then attend your classes and everything on the phone. It's difficult. I absolutely understand. But please, students, this is the new normal now. You have to adjust with this and study because the exams are not going to stop and the academic year is not going to get over, right? Yes, I understand. Yeah, your eyes are getting. Oh my God! Suddenly we have a feeling that the eyes are getting troubled. What about the eyes being troubled when you used to be on the mobile phone and watching TV every day? That time, what used to happen? How was your test? Good? Hard? I tried to make the most easiest paper I could do. Okay, very good. Oh my God, people, you already got your marks as well. Nice, very nice. Very hard. I don't. Okay, see, it's okay if you don't understand chemistry and you find it difficult. See, even if you've not studied for the chapter and if you would have attended my lecture carefully, if you have listened to me carefully and then you have attended the class, then you would have attended the test. I think it would have been easy because I hardly asked any difficult question. I only ask those questions which I continuously repeated in my class. See, I try to do that from my end. But if still you feel that you were not comfortable writing the test, you still face difficulty, I would request you to revise the topic once again. Please, will you do that? So now a lot of chit chatting we have done. So let us move to the topic. The chapter's name. Come on, who's going to tell me what's the name of the chapter? Very good. It is acids, bases, and salts. And a quick recap of what we have studied in acids, bases, and salts. We've spoke about acidic radical, basic radicals. We've studied about what are acids, what are bases, and what are salts on the terms of Arrhenius theory. Apart from that, we also spoke about the strength of the acid and base, isn't it? After studying the strength of the acids and bases, we also learned about a term which is called as basicity and acidity. Acidity. Basicity and acidity, these were the two terms which we were discussing in the last class, and this was the table I assume that we were talking about, right? We had completed this table, isn't it, my dear students? We had already completed this table, and we also spoke about what is monobasic, dibasic, and tribasic acids. Do you remember this? When I use the word monobasic acid, the word acid comes means we are talking about the H plus ions. And if it becomes mono means 1. If it is di, it becomes 2. And simply when it is tri, it becomes 3. And last class, I told you many students had the doubt of dissociation of acetic acid. Do you remember the word term acetic acid? What is the formula of acetic acid? Anybody? What's the formula of acetic acid? Very good. Rishika, very good. Rishi, very nice. Very good. Shruti, you were able to give me the dissociation. So the acetic acid formula, which is my vinegar, the formula is CH3COOH. When it dissociates, as I said, it's a weak acid. It does not allow complete dissociation. Only few small molecules get dissociated, and I get the formula as CH3COO minus, and the last one H plus is given out in this form. So that is why in case of CH3COOH, we write the number of H plus ions obtained as only one molecule. Is it clear? Why only one H is coming? Because only the last H is gets dissociated as H plus, and that is why it is monobasic acid. Now, if you're getting confused in the term, ma'am, monobasic बोल रहे हो और उसके बाद H plus बोलते हो, so how is it going in? Let me clear this thing for you. When I say acid, we all know acid means H plus, right? We all know that acids contain H plus ions. Is it clear? We also know that basic radicals are the positively charged ions. Do you remember in the last chapter when we were talking about the table of ions and radicals? Basic radicals are those which are positively charged, and H plus is positively charged. That is why the term comes monobasic acid. Clear? And for the base, it will become monoacidic base, because base contains OH minus ions. And negatively charged ions are also called as acidic radicals. And that is why the term for base becomes monoacidic base. Is it clear? And did you all understand how acetic acid gets dissociated? Is it clear? If these all things are clear, then I'll move ahead. OH minus, yes, is an acidic radical. So we are through with this table. Now let us learn the basicity of acid. Basicity of acids mean the number of H plus ions obtainable by the dissociation of one molecule of acid. When one molecule of acid dissociates, we use the word basicity. And the term basicity comes because acid contains positively charged ions. I am repeating myself again. What is the definition of basicity of acids? The number of H plus ions. See, if you get confused, कि ma'am basicity आएगा, acidity आएगा, I will get confused. So you have to take care what is the last word given to you. The last word given to us is acids. And when it is acid, we are going to use H plus. So the number of H plus ions obtainable after the dissociation of one molecule of an acid is called its basicity. Yes, only one molecule, because we'll talk in terms of a single atom here. Similarly, the next term, acidity of bases. The acidity of bases becomes the number of OH minus ions obtainable by the dissociation of one molecule of base is called as its acidity. Clear? Did you understand these terms now? Basicity of acids and acidity of bases. And please, will you write this down after reading? Nobody will be in a hurry to write because I give you enough time. I want you all to understand first. So let us repeat after me, everyone. Please, what is basicity of acids? I am assuming that you all are repeating. And when we are repeating, we are trying to by heart the definition so that when we write, we already know the definition. The number of H plus ions obtainable by the dissociation of one molecule of an acid is called its basicity. And the number of OH minus ions obtainable by the dissociation of one molecule of base is called its acidity. Please write it down. See, if I had to tell you that take a screenshot, mark in the textbook, I wouldn't have given you time. Don't do that, please. Write it down when I say. I'm giving quickly write, please. No, Sivasri, it can be same, it cannot be same. It is not always same. I was just waiting for you all to write. In short, if I had to explain this again, when I say basicity of acids, means we're talking about H plus ions present in one molecule of acid. And when I say acidity of base means OH minus ions present in one molecule of the base. See, the term is simple. Acidity of base. Base bola matlab kaun sa ion hai? OH minus. That is what we are going to obtain after the dissociation of one molecule of the base. Yes, basicity is there because it is H plus. Come on, students, don't turn on your videos. Please keep it switched off. I know you all want to show your beautiful faces, but let us stay off on video only. Dissociation means it separates. The ions get separated. And you've learned also. Very good, Sahil. After this, the next term which we are going to learn today is called as concentration of acid and base. Now, when I use the word concentration of acid and base, let us take a simple activity here to understand this. We'll take a lemon and cut it into 2 equal parts. Now, I want everyone to stop writing or chatting in the chat box. Please try to read what is coming on the slide. Cut a lemon and cut it into 2 equal parts. Take the juice of each part in 2 separate beakers. Pour 10 ml of drinking water in one beaker and 20 ml of drinking water in the second. I am repeating myself again. I have taken lemon, cut it into 2 equal parts in 2 different beakers. In one beaker, the amount of lemon juice is the same, but the amount of water which I am using is different. 10 ml of drinking water in one beaker and 20 ml of drinking water in the second. Stir both the solutions and taste them. What will you find? What will you feel? Is there any difference in taste of the solutions in the 2 beakers? Will there be difference in the taste? If yes, then which one is going to have a different taste? Which one will be more sour? Which one will be more sour? I am surprised that I expected everybody to give me only one answer, but everybody is confused. Why? See, A and B both of them were having same amount of lemon juice. And in A I put only 10 ml of water and B I put 20 ml. So जिसमें कम concentration है वो ज़्यादा सार होगा, right? So beaker A will be more sour. From the above activity, the sour taste of the solutions is because of the solute. It's because of the lemon juice. There are two things here. One is the lemon juice and the other one is the water. Lemon juice is called as my solute and water is called as my solvent. Yes, I got your answer. Thank you so much. If you keep on typing, doesn't mean that I am not able to see or something like that. Solute and solvent, these two terms we have studied in our lower standards as well, in 8th standard. Solute is the lemon juice, solvent is the water. So the quantity of lemon juice is same in both the solutions, yet their tastes were different because the solution is the first beaker was more sour. The ratio of the quantity of the solute to the concentration of the resulting solution is different. I hope you are understanding this. The ratio of the solution was larger in the second beaker, right? Water was more, so that in test tube A, it will be more sour because water is less. I hope it is clear to everyone. With these terms, what am I trying to explain? I'm trying to explain the concentration of the solute and the solvent. When I talk about the solute and solvent, all the I am extremely sorry, because of certain internet issue, I was completely logged off from the screen. So I think in between you were not able to see me. So do not worry, I have logged in again. So we'll start the process once again. Now you all are able to hear me. I repeat again, do not worry. Okay, thank you so much. I really like cooperative students. So we were talking about the concentration of the solute and the solvent. So when the concentration of the solute in the solution is high, it is called as concentrated solution. And when the solution is called as dilute solution, when the concentration of the solute is low. Remember, there are two different things when I talk about acids and bases. Sometimes it is strong and weak, and the other times we use the term concentrated and dilute. All these four things are different. Now, by understanding the definition, I hope this concept is clear to you. So when I say weak acid, doesn't mean I'm talking about acid mixed with water. When I say weak acid, means I'm talking about the acids which are not completely dissociated. And when I use the word concentrated, means more of acid, less of water. And when I say dilute, means more of acid and less of acid and more of water. In the example which we took of the lemon juice, beaker A is more concentrated as compared to beaker B. Beaker A is more concentrated as compared to beaker B because in beaker A the solvent was less, no? As compared to the solute concentration. So I'll repeat all these terms once again for you. The four things which we were discussing here means, see, have you all understood the difference between strong and weak? Strong acid or weak acid का पता है difference क्या है? Strong acid means which dissociates completely and weak acid means which does not dissociate completely. All right, I am going back again. Strong acid means which dissociates completely and weak acid means which does not dissociate completely, and dissociate means splitting up of the ions. For example, HCl splits up into H plus and Cl minus. That is the meaning of dissociation. And when I talk about concentrated and dilute, means I take 10 ml of acid in both the beakers. In one beaker, I add 10 ml of water, and another beaker, I add 20 ml of water. So 10 ml beaker becomes concentrated acid and 20 ml becomes weak acid. Dilute acid. So when we use the word concentrated and dilute, we are talking in terms of water being added to that. Is it clear now? How do you recognize whether the acid is strong or weak? Good question. I will answer this question in the next slide where I'll be teaching you this concept. But did you understand the difference between concentrated and dilute? See, there's a very simple term to this. When the concentration of the solute is higher, it is concentrated. When the concentration of the solute is lower, it is dilute. So several units are used to apply to this concentration of the solution. Two of these units which are used more frequently. No, you don't have to write anything. The first unit used for concentration. See, whenever we talk in terms of concentration, we use a unit which is called as mass of the solute in grams dissolved in 1 liter of the solution. So the unit becomes grams per liter. जैसे हम लोग लेंथ का यूनिट यूज करते हैं मीटर, सेंटीमीटर, किलोमीटर. Similarly, concentration, the units used is grams per liter. One of the units used for measuring the concentration is mass of the solute in grams dissolved in 1 liter of the solution. So it is called as grams per liter. And the second unit, which is in terms of moles, when it is dissolved in 1 liter of the solution, it is moles per liter, which is given one term which is called as molarity, which is represented by capital M, which is called as molarity. The molarity of the solute is indicated by writing it in square brackets. See, if I have to write the molarity of NaCl, I put it in square bracket, means 1 molar. That is moles per liter. So the two units of measuring the concentration are grams per liter and moles per liter. The unit moles per liter is given a term called as molarity. जैसे units होता है ना सेंटीमीटर, किलोमीटर, वैसे concentration का unit है molarity. All right, which is nothing but moles per liter. Now I'll show you one table which will try to clear all your doubts about grams per liter and moles per liter. Just observe this table carefully, which is there in the textbook on page number 63. We are going to solve this table now. If you all have your textbooks with you, very good. If you are not having, concentrate on the slide. Now, my dear students, we are going to complete the table of the concentration of various aqueous solutions. See, सबसे पहला block देखो किसका है? Solute. Under solute, I have 3 columns, A, B, and C, where A is indicating the name of the solution, B is indicating the molecular formula, and C is indicating the molecular mass. Are you all able to hear me properly? Is there any trouble in my voice? Okay, so few students who have this complaint, please check from your side, because now I tried to change my internet connection also. Second block is about quantity of the solute. Quantity of the solute D is given as grams, and the E1 is the mole. And to calculate the mole, if you remember, we use a formula mass in grams upon molecular mass. Do you remember? Number of moles ka formula, mass in grams upon molecular mass. So mass in grams is the number D column and molecular mass is C. So E is equals to D upon C, which is giving my mole. You all are going to do this with me, so I want everybody to listen to me carefully. F column, that is volume of the solution, is given to us, that is the liter. And the last column is of the concentration of the solution. दो concentration हमने पढ़ा, क्या है दो concentration? Grams per liter and moles per liter. Grams per liter and moles per liter. So concentration लिखना बहुत easy है, क्यों? Because grams already is given to us in column D and liter is already given to us in column F. So D upon F becomes grams per liter and molarity, which is moles per liter, becomes E upon F. If we solve this table, we can easily do the concentration part. Shall we start with the table now? First one is already solved for us as an example. Let's move to the next one, the B one. The next one is HCl. The name of the compound is hydrogen chloride or hydrochloric acid. Whatever you write, it is correct. Do you remember how to calculate the molecular mass? Do you remember how to calculate the molecular mass? Very good. What is the definition of the molecular mass? It is sum of the atomic masses, right? Sum of the atomic masses. We have two elements here, hydrogen and chlorine. Hydrogen का atomic mass कितना है? 1. Chlorine का atomic mass कितना है? 35.5. So when I add both of them, I get the answer as 36.5. Daniel, why it is 18 and you are continuously writing 18? How can it be 18? I am answering the question. When I use the word HCl, H stands for hydrogen, Cl stands for chlorine. H has atomic mass 1. Chlorine has atomic mass 35.5. And molecular mass is sum of the atomic masses. मतलब हम दोनों को add करना है. So when I add 35.5 plus 1, the answer is 36.5. Got it? Is it clear to you, Daniel? Because you're continuously writing 18. Okay, so I have done the C wala column. Now let's come to the E one. E is equals to D upon C. Have we got D? Samuel, I just answered that it cannot be 18. It has to be 36.5. And I also answered why it is going to be 36.5. We pay attention and then solve. E is equals to D upon C. What does D stands for? The grams, which is 3.65. 3.65 will be divided by 36.5. 3.65 will be divided by 36.5. Very good, Daniel. Now, so my answer would be here 0.1. Very nice. I'm really happy. A lot of students are giving me the correct answer. Did you all understand why it is 0.1? 0.1 mole कैसे मिला मुझे सबको पता चला? Okay, very good. Now the next column is the concentration, which is grams per liter. G वाला column. G is simple, no? Grams क्या दिया है हमको? 3.65. Liters कितना दिया है हमको? 1. So 3.65 divided by 1 will be how much? 3.65 divided by 1 is going to be 3.65 only. Right? Everybody got? So everybody's got 3.65. Very good. Next column. Molarity. Molarity is moles per liter. What is the moles given to you? What are the moles given to us? 0.1. What is the liter given to us? 1. It is 0.1 divided by 1. 0.1 divided by 1 is going to give you what? 0.1. VK Manthan, can you switch off your video, please? Manthan, are you listening to me? Okay, so one question asked to me is, how do we get the atomic mass? That we have done in the previous chapter. The atomic masses of chlorine and hydrogen will be given to us in the exam. For this exam also, if you would have solved the paper carefully, I had given you the atomic masses to calculate the molecular mass. Right? So if the atomic masses are given to us, we just have to add them. All right. Abhi next wala I am not doing. I am giving you time. I want everyone to try this first. Everyone will try this. Then I will give the answer. And Harshit, you don't have to worry about the subject. Please wait. Try to do it. See, you don't have to answer any question on the chat box. You do it in your textbook. And when I am answering, you check whether you've got the correct answer or not. To just give you a little help. Just to help you a little bit to finding out the atomic masses, sodium has atomic mass 23, oxygen is 16, and hydrogen is 1. In this way, you can calculate the molecular mass of sodium hydroxide. Are you done with this? Sodium is 23, hydrogen is 1, oxygen is 16. Sodium 23, oxygen 16, 1 6, hydrogen 1. Chalo, at least nahi answer did. So what is the answer? Sodium hydroxide. Very good, Saransh. The answer is 40 U, 40 Daltons. Everybody got this? $69, Ronald. Acha, you're telling me grams. Okay, okay. Next column also many students have already solved it for me. Thank you so much. And few students who are thinking, ma'am, kaise calculate karna hai? So you can see the next table. See, E is equals to D upon C, right? E is given to you. D you have to find out, and C is also given to you. So you just have to cross multiply, no? So you have to multiply 40 into 1.5. 40 into 1.5. I hope you all understood why we are multiplying 40 into 1.5, because number of moles is equals to molecular mass, mass in grams upon molecular mass. So the D wala column ka answer would be 60 grams. And this 60 grams I had obtained by multiplying 40 into 1.5. 40 into 1.5. Rishika, Meet, please check your answers. Okay, Rishika, I got your answer. You're giving me the answer for the next column. Meet, I also got yours. Okay. So the next one, that is concentration of the solute. It would be what? 60 divided by 2, right? So I'm going to get 30 grams per liter. And what will be H? That is moles per liter. Sorry, Sahil, I did not miss the chat. That is why I did not see. What will be the last one? Harshit, are you able to answer? What is the last column ka answer? Come on, Harshit, I want the answer from you. Samuel, you did not get? Sorry, other students who are giving me the answer, but I'm not able to take out your names. But you all are giving me correct. Whoever is giving me wrong, I'm calling out their names. In the last column, which is H, if you see the table, it is already given what you are supposed to do, Harshit. See, it is given H is equals to E upon F. E is given to you. E kitna hai hamare paas? 1.5. F kitna hai hamare paas? 2. So 1.5 divided by 2 is going to give us how much? I hope all your algebra and mathematics skills are great. Saransh, check your answer. Okay, so to all the students who have done it correctly, very good. The answer is 0.75 moles. That is the molarity, not moles, molarity. Just like this table is given to us here in the exam also, they can give you this table and few blanks left. How it is given here? few things you're supposed to calculate whenever such questions are asked. They are very simple, but what you need to do is you have to understand the columns correctly. You have to see the columns. क्या दिया है? A क्या indicate करता है? B क्या indicate करता है? What is C? And everything. How C was calculated? Because C is the sum of the atomic masses. So I added the atomic mass of sodium, atomic mass of oxygen, atomic mass of hydrogen. इन सबको जब add किया तो मुझे answer मिला 40. Then with the help of every detail, I was solving the other columns. See, third, okay, 3. Jay, you're writing it the other way around. It is 3.65 divided by 36.5. And then the answer becomes 0.1. Symbol of mole is MOL. And molarity is capital M. That is the difference. How did I get 0.75? I got 0.75 by dividing 1.5 divided by 2. How did I get 60 grams in D column? Because to get the answer for D column, I use the next column's detail. E is equals to D upon C. E was given to us, that is 1.5. C was, which we calculated, was 40. So when I multiplied 40 into 1.5, I got the answer as 60. Yes, mole and molarity are totally different. Mole indicates the number of atoms or molecules present in the given substance. And molarity is the concentration of the solute. I hope I've tried to answer all the questions asked to me. Now, one student had asked me this question, ma'am, how do I understand whether the acid is strong or weak? To understand the acid's strength, we use one concept which is called as the pH of the solution. Now, what is the meaning of pH of the solution? Saransh, very soon we are going to learn that. We all know that acids and bases dissociate to a smaller or a larger extent in dissolving in water, forming H plus and OH minus ions respectively. We all have seen that, right? हमको पता है कोई strong acid है जो large extent पे dissociate होगा, small weak acid है जो less extent पे dissociate होगा, right? We all have learned these terms. Pure water also undergoes dissociation to a very small extent, and it gives rise to H plus and OH minus ions. See, H2O dissociates to give me H plus and OH minus ions. That means water also undergoes dissociation. The concentration of H plus ions, which is formed by dissociation of water at 25 degrees Celsius, is 1 into 10 raised to minus 7 moles per liter. Similarly, at the same temperature, the concentration of H plus ions in 1 molar solution of HCl is 1 into 10 raised to 0. It is, okay, that's come out as 100. It is 1 into 10 raised to 0. Basically, it's 10 moles per liter. On the other hand, for NaOH, it is 1 into 10 raised to minus 14 moles per liter. So we see that in common aqueous solution, the range of H plus ion concentration is very different. Now you might be thinking, ma'am, ये सब क्या है? हमको कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा. So to simplify all these terms, 1 into 10 raised to minus 7, 1 into 10 raised to minus 14, a Danish scientist named Sorensen, he introduced a very convenient scale for expressing the H plus ion concentration, and that convenient scale is called as the pH scale. You did not understand? तो उसको easy करने के लिए ही Sorensen ने ये scale introduce किया, which is called as the pH scale. And the strength of the acid and base is measured with the help of this pH scale. ये रहा हमारा pH scale, which ranges from 0 to 14. See, in certain textbooks, it might be given as 1 to 14. In certain textbooks, it is given as 0 to 14. It is absolutely correct. Both the pHs are correct, 0 to 14. Now, the strength of the acid. अभी strength कैसे पता चलेगा? If the pH is 7, the solution is going to be neutral. If it is ranging from 0 to 7, it is acidic. If it is ranging between 7 to 14, it is called as basic. This is called as the pH scale, where pH stands for power of hydrogen. pH is represented by writing small p and capital H. Small p and capital H. That is called as the power of hydrogen, which is going to tell us the strength of the acid. Abhi the question arises, strength kaise pata chalega? At 7, what did I say? What is going to be the pH? At 7, kaise hoga pH? At 7, what is going to be the pH? At 7, neutral. If it is ranging between 0 to 7, it is acidic. 0 to 7, it is acidic. 7 to 14, it is basic. And why are we learning all this? Because we need to know कि मैं अगर तुमको कोई solution का laboratory में देती हूँ, and if I ask you to identify the strength, we are going to make use of this pH paper whose color change is going to help you understand कि कौन सा acid है और कौन सा base है. So can you tell me कि strong acid का pH क्या होगा? एकदम strong acid का pH. What do you think from 0 to 14? Strong acid का pH कितना होना चाहिए? Very good. It is going, no, Nishika, it is going to be towards 0. क्योंकि अगर 6 बोलोगे तुम तो that is going to be neutral, no? So when I'm moving left, the strength is increasing. So एकदम left में जो होगा वो strong होगा. Yes, Jay, I got your answer. And what will be the pH of strong base? What will be the pH of strong base? 14. Very good. Because at the end, it is going to give us the strong base, right? This pH scale is definitely there in the school laboratory. If you would have a chance to go to the laboratory this year, the teachers are going to show you this experiment where they make use of this pH paper or litmus paper and show you the difference in the colors of acids and bases. All right. So did you all understand till here? So I am not teaching anything ahead. In the next class, we'll learn how the pH is going to give us the color change and what are the types of indicators being used. For today, I'll end my class here. And the students who have understood the topic for today can leave the class. For any student who is having doubts, can stay back and ask me questions.